John Nolan and Bailey Noon have survived a hitman, an international crime boss, and more life-threatening cases than most TV couples see in a decade together. Season 9 might actually ask something harder of them than any of that. Sitting still, let's go through everything the cast just revealed about Nolan and Bailey's Season 9 arc at Comic-Con. What's actually happening with the Chenford cliffhanger heading into the premiere, and an update on the Rookie, North that I think deserves way more attention than it's getting right now, because the spin-off's future is genuinely more complicated than most fans realize. At the San Diego Comic-Con panel on July 25, just days after Season 9 began filming, showrunner Alexi Hawley posed a question to TV Insider that's apparently going to define Bailey's whole season. How do you slow down when you're an overachiever? That's not coming out of nowhere either. It traces straight back to something Nolan himself said to her in Season 8. That she's, in his words, pathologically incapable of standing still. Hawley confirmed that diagnosis is going to keep echoing through her arc all season long. I think it's worth sitting with why that specific question is landing on Bailey now. Of all characters. She's a firefighter married to a cop, and the two of them have spent years building a relationship inside jobs that demand constant motion by design. You don't survive in either profession by pausing to process things. That's exactly what makes an overachiever question so much more interesting than a typical relationship storyline. It's not about whether Nolan and Bailey love each other. It's about whether two people who define themselves through constant forward motion actually know how to exist in stillness with one another without a case or a fire or an emergency organizing their time for them. Nolan's got his own adjustment coming too, and it's a genuinely full circle one. He's spending Season 9 training a brand new rookie, the same man who spent his own first season as the LAPD's oldest trainee, is now old enough to be the one handing out the advice instead of receiving it. That's 8 seasons of character development landing on exactly the right beat, and I think it's going to give Fillion some of his richest material yet. Watching him deliver the same kind of patience and belief to someone new that Bradford, Lopez, and the rest of Mid-Wilshire once had to extend to him. There's something almost poetic about the show closing that particular loop, right as it heads into its 9th year. The outsider who never should have made it becoming the guy everyone else's future now runs through. Jenna Dewan, who plays Bailey, sounds ready for whatever pressure that puts on their marriage. She said she actually appreciates the outside stress Season 9 introduces, and she's hoping it pushes the two of them toward more teamwork and higher stakes rather than pulling them apart. I honestly think that's the right instinct for where this couple needs to go creatively. This show has never been interested in manufacturing conflict between Nolan and Bailey for its own sake, and a storyline about two competent, driven people learning to actually rest together feels far more true to who they are than a forced betrayal or an artificial rift ever could. Of course, the panel wasn't only about the Nolan-Bailey household. The full cast joined Hawley on stage that day. Nathan Fillion, Melissa O'Neill, Eric Winter, Richard T. Jones, Alyssa Diaz, Mikia Cox, Sean Ashmore, Jenna Dewan, Liseth Chavez, and Derek Augustine, all together barely a week into production. And fans are still recovering from May's Season 8 finale, where Tim Bradford proposed to Lucy Chen on the beach, only for the two of them to be drugged and kidnapped by operatives working for a crime boss seconds later. Fillion asked the Comic-Con crowd how many of them had, in his words, a conniption in their living room over that twist. Melissa O'Neill's response got a huge laugh. "We will send you some magnesium to calm you down. Have a nice little bit of tea. We are so sorry for that." And Holly confirmed exactly how that cliffhanger gets addressed. Season 9 picks it up immediately in a supersized 2-episode premiere. "I think it's the best of what we do. It's incredibly high stakes dramatic," he told Deadline. "It's a love story. It's funny and unexpected." That's a genuinely bold claim after 8 seasons of this show, delivering some memorable openers, and I think it tells you how much confidence the writers' room has in whatever they've built to get Tim and Lucy out of that situation. The Rookie returns to ABC in January 2027. Now, here's the update I think matters more than most people realize. Back in May, The Rookie. North got picked up to series with real momentum. A full 10-episode order. Jay Ellis, starring as Alex Holland alongside Janet Montgomery, Karen Fukuhara, Chris Sullivan, Froy Gutierrez, Mia Lowe, and Malik Watson. The official logline describes Alex as a man who believed his midlife wasn't worthy of a crisis until a violent home invasion ignites a dormant sense of purpose, pushing him to join the Pierce County Police Department as a rookie, despite a lifetime of failed commitments. The show is set to police everything from the urban coast to the rural forest, where, as the logline puts it, backup isn't just 5 minutes away. It's essentially Nolan's Pacific Northwest counterpart, built by the same creative team, and the pilot was already shot, complete with a Nathan Fillion cameo as Nolan himself. Since Holly has been planning real crossover episodes between the two shows from the start. He's previously told Deadline he's aiming for somewhere around 2 to 3 crossover episodes a season, though he's acknowledged the geography makes it genuinely harder than his past crossover work. Vancouver and Los Angeles aren't exactly next door to each other. That kind of franchise building isn't new territory for him either. He's pointed to ABC's other paired shows, like 911 and 911, Nashville or Grey's Anatomy and Station 19, and his own earlier pairing of The Rookie with The Rookie. Feds, as proof that running 2 connected shows at once is something he's already done successfully before. But by late June, reporting confirmed a real snag. ABC only had 1 remaining primetime hour-long slot left for the 2026-27 season, and it went to Scott Speedman's RJ Decker instead, which got renewed for a second season. That effectively closed the door on North having its own dedicated spot, at least for now. The pilot exists. A crossover episode is already filmed. Both the creative team and Jay Ellis have spent months publicly championing the project. And as of the most recent reporting I could find, just this week, the spin-off is still described as sitting in limbo, with a possible time slot sharing arrangement between the two shows, both airing in a single primetime block with reduced episode counts, floated as one workaround still being considered. I think it's worth remembering this isn't the franchise's first spin-off swing either. The Rookie, Feds, starring Niecy Nash, aired for 1 season back in 2022 and 2023 before it was canceled. So there's real precedent here for how unpredictable this specific corner of ABC's schedule can be, even for a show as reliably successful as The Rookie itself, which keeps setting ratings records on the mothership even while North's fate stays genuinely uncertain behind the scenes. And it's worth noting that Season 9 itself is reportedly heading into a shorter episode order than previous years, which lines up with the exact same network-wide scheduling squeeze that's currently holding North back. It's not just one spin-off feeling the pinch. It's the whole corner of ABC's drama slate this franchise occupies. So heading into season 9, here's where things actually stand. Nolan and Bailey are facing a season about learning to slow down together after years of building a marriage almost entirely out of motion. Nolan himself is stepping into the exact role that once seemed impossible for a man his age to ever hold. The Chenford Rescue is getting the 2-part, high-stakes premiere it deserves, with Hawley himself calling it some of the best work this show has ever done. And The Rookie, North, despite having a finished pilot and a Fillion cameo already in the can, is still waiting on ABC to actually give it a home to premiere. In The Rookie Season 9 premieres January 2027 on ABC. Drop a comment and tell me, do you think Nolan and Bailey's marriage gets stronger under Season 9's pressure? Or does this finally become their first real crack? And do you think The Rookie, North, actually finds its way onto the schedule this cycle? Because after everything already invested in that pilot, I don't think ABC walks away from it completely.